What up, it's Casper. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie World War Z. The movie World War Z is a 2013 movie. It's rated PG-13. It's 1 hour and 56 minutes. Directed by Marc Forster. So in this movie we got Brad Pitt. He plays the character Jerry Lane, living a retirement life with his family. And what's happening around the world, there's a virus that's turning humans into zombies. There was like a zombie attack in his city. What Jerry does is try to take his family out of that chaos. As the infection gets bigger and bigger, Jerry ends up trying to find out like what caused this infection, what caused the spread as well. Long story short, his old co-worker, a former chief, he ends up calling Jerry into the United Nations emergency team, and there's sort of like a deal for him and his family to be safe. He has to get out of retirement and go out to these places to figure out where this infection is coming from. He ends up telling his family that to be safe, he has to go out there and figure out where this virus is coming from. So you see a lot of moments in this movie that his family has to stay on base, the UN base, and Jerry agrees to join his former colleagues to go find where this infection started and where it's spreading. I really enjoyed how the movie started with basically you're entering the pandemic without a lot of people knowing there's a pandemic going on. More sense of like people ignoring the news. Really cool that the movie started with the news people talking about like what's going on in cities. It brings us straight into Brad Pitt retired life with his family. Really enjoyed the beginning of the movie because you think it's gonna be that type of pace, and then literally like 10 minutes after, boom, straight action. It's literally 2 hours and this movie flew by pretty well. Traveling to a lot of places where not just stuck in one city. A lot of unique places in here. You're going to Israel, you're going to across the world places like South Korea, you're going into like war area zones. The movie is really good on making you feel that this world is going through a pandemic. Beginning with Brad Pitt's character, we got a more he's trying to relax, chill vibe. And then later in the movie you see that this dude had a past. Him playing the dad role was very presentable. The connection with his wife in the movie was really believable. Seeing that he cared for his family with his daughters, like I said, the wife was all real. You could see that his focus was family. Good job with the lines because it brought you closer to Brad Pitt's character. It brought you closer to his family. And then when he's dealing with the UN people, his former job that he was a part of, you could see with the lines as well that he had a past with them and he doesn't really want to do it, but all he cares about is keeping his family safe. The whole presentation from every position he's in is very presentable. Like I said, Brad Pitt is a character in this movie that you could see that he's very, very paranoid in a lot of scenarios in here. You think that he escaped one scenario and then another thing just gets brought along onto his journey. He's really trying to figure out a lot of things. He's an adventure character in this movie as well, and he does a lot of cool things in this movie where he's very tactical. You can definitely tell that he was part of the UN. One thing about the movie that I wanted to see a little bit after this watch was maybe we could have seen like flashbacks of his old job or him having like visions of what he dealt with before he was in that retired life, just to get a little more understanding on how it was when he was working for the UN. What we're given, I think it was still well done. There's a lot of characters that Brad Pitt's character conversates with that you see that he understands what he's doing. He meets a lot of new characters that he never dealt with at all, but you can see that his past is helping his present self in those moments. So Brad Pitt was an enjoyable character. He definitely makes this movie flow at a good pace. You do appreciate his screen time because it's nothing cheesy. His action scenes are well done, like in the beginning. Really cool to see that he's looking around his whole environment. Brad Pitt's a cool character in this movie, and the whole family is dope. The thing I thought that was funny was his name is Jerry in the movie, and one of his homies in this movie, his name is Thierry. The thing that I caught from the movie is like the Jerry Thierry thing, so I was just like kind of similar names, or they just rhymed. The end gave me a feel like, yo, be ready for another movie, be ready for something else. You do see the CGI, you do see the special effects at times, but I think this movie was actually spot on with showing environment, showing good camera angles. There was at times a little bit of a shaky cam, but you forget about those because there's a lot of other things that you're visually entertained with. Did a good job showing a whole bunch of zombies all together at once. Like that looked very creepy. They did choose creepy angles. The zombies in general, I did like the fast-paced moving zombies. That was a scenario where like if that was real life, I would definitely be scared seeing that. The veins in their body, seeing how dead and soulless these zombies look. I mean, that's how they are. The detail to the eyes, the skin texture was for the zombies was definitely pretty cool to see, and something I would be like, yo, it'd be dope to be on set to see that as well. Movie did bring me vibes with the zombies, like, yo, the next movie we're gonna see more stuff that we didn't see from this movie. In this movie, you don't see too many zombies like clanging onto people, like with the bite, like a dog just yanking on them and just trying to bite a piece off. Did focus on the cool angles, the fast angles, and then just seeing certain things in this movie, how this zombie movie you wouldn't see in other zombie movies. This movie puts you in a lot of scenarios like, oh bro, like no way, this has to happen. Like there's a scene when they're in the plane, spoilers, but Brad Pitt ends up throwing a grenade in the plane, and that was just a moment where I'm just like, yo, no way, he really has to do that. A lot of moments in this movie that give you that feel. The other actors in this movie are a good tag along characters for this whole ride. One of the characters in here is named Segan, and I enjoyed her character because she went through so much. Had her arm cut off. That presentation, that look was definitely believable. She came out of nowhere, so that was a really cool character. Crazy to see a lot of relatable moments in this movie that could happen right now or is happening right now. A couple scenes in here where you think it's gonna be just dialogue, but does really good on next scene. Let's go, let's keep on going. This movie does have an adventurous feel where you see the characters doing certain things. You're like, oh shoot, if I'm in a zombie apocalypse, I'm gonna try to do some stuff this movie is showing me. Survival guide tips in this movie, so that was pretty funny. But when you see it, you're like, okay, that kind of makes sense. One character that I did like was that family Brad Pitt's character met when he was bringing his family to be in cover when they went to the apartments. One of the characters that survived that crazy zombie attack was Thomas, but he was that low-key character that was like, yo, he's a cool character as well. If you're not a zombie fan or like zombie movies, I feel like this is not your type of movie. But if you do like zombie movies, I feel like this is a zombie movie after years. 2013, especially now in today's time, this movie is still dope and it still holds up. Wish this was a movie that I did see in movie theaters, because I can only imagine how dope the sound was and visually it would look in the movie theaters. Overall, great performance by Brad Pitt, good actors to bring this movie more life. Dope to know that Brad Pitt's production team was a part of this movie. After my watching the movie World War Z out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 8 out of 10. That's my movie review for the movie World War Z. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.